Hello, everybody. This is Brooke Jenkins for Health. And this was kind of a last minute impromptu real talk that I scheduled. So I apologize for the short notice, but I'm going to go ahead and just go through what I was planning on going through and recording it for all those that are not able to be on live with me today. So today, it has actually been a few weeks since I've been able to do a real talk with school starting and juggling the kiddos back in school and just a lot of busy stuff the last 3 weeks. It's been a few weeks, so I apologize for the delay, but I'm really excited to come to you today and talk a little bit more about taking the next steps with metabolic health. The last time we got together, it was the intro to metabolic health and metabolic mastery. We're just talking really about what does that mean? What does that look like? So I'm going to go into a little bit deeper, a little bit more into the what causes metabolic health and my personal story when it comes to metabolic syndrome, which I personally have dealt with most of my adult life. So, diving deeper into metabolic health and specifically like metabolic syndrome, what actually caused it and how can we take the next step towards reversing it? That's really the goal here is reversing metabolic syndrome. Um, Researchers believe that the main driver behind metabolic syndrome is actually insulin resistance. And if you've never heard of insulin resistance, this one really is personal to me and really hits home for me. At age 25, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS. Looking back, that is actually, that's where insulin resistance is the root cause of that. And that's the root cause that they're saying is for metabolic syndrome. And I've actually really believed that in my core for a very long time that most people have it insulin resistant and don't even realize it. Um, and over the years, I've really learned to recognize my body signals. If I eat something starchy or sugary, my body totally reacts. Sometimes I can gain 3 to 5 pounds overnight. I feel sluggish, bloated, and deal with many GI issues as well. I have a very sensitive gastrointestinal tract. But for me, it wasn't just about willpower. It was my body not feeling safe. And that's what at core that we talked about last time is when it comes to metabolic health, is when your body feels safe and your body can really work the way it's intended to work. My body responds with inflammation and reacting that way with the insulin resistance. Our bodies can't actually process the starches and the sugars that affect our bodies in a positive way. And that creates, more water retention and glycogen and lots of different things like that. So actually your body will respond in an inflammatory way. That's how my body totally responds. And I can feel it. It's pretty amazing when you can truly start to feel great and then recognize when your body responds in a inflammatory way. Um, so kind of a little bit more about my personal story. I actually used to call myself a pastaholic. I loved everything pasta, cheesy and pasta. Pasta was really my life. Like everything had to revolve around pasta. But pasta never really made me feel good. Once I really started to get healthy, learn how to eat healthy, learn how to fuel my body well, so my body could actually heal from the inside out, I really noticed how much better I felt when I avoided pasta. I had more energy, I was clearer focused, I had way less inflammation, and it became less about missing out and more about being empowered. And that shift was really huge and how I really felt amazing, avoiding some of the starchy and carby things. So let's talk a little bit more about what insulin resistance is. So here's really the kind of simple version of insulin resistance, which is really the core of metabolic syndrome and the core of to become aware of that so you can reverse metabolic syndrome and create metabolic health for your body so your body can feel safe. Insulin is what your pancreas releases to regulate your blood sugar. So we need high glycemic foods. Those spike your blood sugar very quickly, and our pancreas pumps out insulin. The body doesn't feel safe, your blood sugar stays high and drops. And then you have to eat more to be able to spike and then drop. And that's what our standard American diet does. Their blood sugar spikes and then it drops, and then it spikes and it drops. So think about high glycemic is foods that burn really hot really quickly. Think about like a piece of paper. When it's caught on fire, it's going to burn hot and fast and it's going to be gone very quickly. That's the high glycemic food in our body. It gives you fast, quick energy, and brings that blood sugar up, which is your energy. And then once it's gone, and it comes crashing back down. And then you need more to bring that energy back up. And so hence, energy drinks and caffeine and sugary caffeine drinks and all that sort of thing that come along with that to keep our energy up, right? That's what we're chasing. We're chasing keeping that energy up because it high glycemic, the sugary, the carby, even the caffeines, they're short-lived and they bring your energy up and then it comes back down. So we're always seeking, we're seeing like we're always chasing having more energy. But when we're in that constant seeking that, over time, our cells start responding the way they should. And that creates insulin resistance, where your body doesn't respond to insulin to help regulate it, to try to keep your energy stable. And then you just are continually seeking those sugar highs, those blood sugar highs. And your body really doesn't feel safe anymore. Your blood sugar stays high and crashes. And this creates a snowball effect that can create pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, obesity, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, cardiovascular disease, and even, conditions like polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, which is also typically a precursor to pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. You know, Additional contributing factors to metabolic syndrome is having excess fat and excess weight around your belly. Visceral fat around your organs also really drives insulin resistance. Lack of physical activity. Our muscles need glucose, but without movement, the body doesn't use it very well. Genetics and family history. Type 2 diabetes runs in my family on both sides. So that was something that, is genetic. I want to argue this. It is something that is predisposed in my family based upon our habits. A lot of doctors and a lot of science say it's genetic. Well, I'm going to argue that because one person can break the chain because the habits of obesity has created the genetics of the likelihood of those families having type 2 diabetes. And you may not like me saying that, and that's okay. But I have seen, and I do know from firsthand, that when one person breaks the chain of the habits that have created the obesity and created the diabetes, breaks that chain and starts reversing it, it can stop. And you can break that chain of obesity. You can break that chain of type 2 diabetes that runs in your family. I'm living proof of that. Had I not made changes 11 years ago, I would be diabetic right now. And I would have high blood pressure right now. And I would have high cholesterol right now. And I would have all these other things right now that I don't have. And I'm going to say that is 100% to the habits that I changed, to the awareness, to learning and to implementing health, metabolic health in my body and in my life. And I got to mention that really quick because metabolic health is not just about one person just having enough willpower to say no to things. It's about creating the surroundings and the lifestyle around you that's going to support those healthy habits. In our life book, there is a chapter that's called the leptogenic lifestyle. Leptogenic is the opposite of obesogenic. So it's people who live a leptogenic lifestyle, they're creating a lifestyle of health versus the obesogenic, they're creating a lifestyle of obesity and disease. And I hate to make it that black and white, but really either you're creating more of a leptogenic lifestyle or you're not. It really is that black and white. And that you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. There is no standing still when it comes to our health, when it comes to our life, when it comes to our goals, when it comes to anything that you are pursuing. So, okay, so let's go into some nitty gritty here really quick. And this might be a shorter video because I don't want to go into too much of the weeds. I don't have anybody interacting with me right now, and I want you to be listening to me for an hour. But let's talk about a little bit of things about how we can start to reverse insulin resistance and start to create a trajectory that is creating health versus going the other direction, which is creating metabolic syndrome. So low glycemic foods is a really great place to start. Hydration, sleep, stress, low glycemic foods. And I don't know about you, but when I first heard about high glycemic and low glycemic foods, like that was just so daunting. Like, how do I know what's low glycemic, what's high glycemic? If you need some help in this area, please reach out. I have some amazing tools that really color-coded graphs so you can truly learn and know what's high glycemic, what's low glycemic. But without that, like if you think of anything, I like to talk about like the white starches, white rice, white potatoes, white flour, white sugar. All the white starches are high glycemic. Okay. That is just in a nutshell. That can be a really simple like differentiator. White anything is going to be high glycemic. Whole wheat stuff is going to be more of a lower glycemic. And depending upon the food, now, I have to bring this up. I've heard of whole wheat donuts. Okay. Whole wheat might be a step up from regular white flour donuts, but are they still low glycemic or high glycemic? Yes, they are. Why are they still high glycemic? Because in those whole wheat donuts, what else is in there? Sugar. You have all the other stuff that goes into the donut to make it taste nice and yummy, which is all the sugars and all the other stuff, which makes it high glycemic, which your body is going to react to in an insulin response. And in in my it'll be that insulin resistance response, which I will feel it through my whole body. So that's just a kind of a thing to kind of keep in mind. Anything white starches is going to be high glycemic. And those are things that you do want to avoid and minimize as best you can. Definitely going to more whole wheat will be a bonus. But just because something is a whole wheat donut doesn't mean that it's a low glycemic. I just want to be clear on that as well. And the glycemic index really does make a big difference when you're thinking about making some changes for metabolic health. And trying to get healthier in your core. It's not about weight. It's not about the size of our bodies. It's about how our bodies can respond and how our bodies can take care of the food that's been given. When we're given our right ingredients, our bodies can do amazing things. It really, really can. Prioritizing your sleep is really huge because our bodies cannot repair without a proper amount of sleep. 7 hours. I mean, if I get 6.5 to 7, I am good. I know some people who need a solid 8. Really, for adults, 7 to 9 hours of sleep is ideal. If you're not prioritizing your sleep, why not? And if you're not, and if you haven't been, how can you? How can you prioritize your sleep? How can you do some steps to make sleep more of a priority for you so your body can restore and your body can heal? Moving your body, focusing on steps. Do you know how many steps you take on an average day? I don't want to encourage you to go from 0 to 60, but I do want to encourage you to be aware of where you're at so you can be intentionally trying to increase it little by little to have more movement. Non-energy activity thermogenesis is so important. Now, I know that was a big, big term there. It's called NEAT, N-E-A-T. That is any movement that is not activity and exercise related. So walking, parking further away at the grocery store and walking further to get to the grocery store or get someplace, having just choosing to park further away from the door wherever you go is creating more of those neat steps, those neat activities that really makes a big difference in your overall health. Just having more movement. And you can get a lot out of neat activities without a whole lot of extra effort. And then stress. Stress is a big one. I mean, in America, we live in a stressed society. Stress is a everyday word that everybody says and everybody lives by. But what if you didn't? What if stress just was not a part of your vocabulary? What if, yes, things are busy, maybe things are chaotic, but you're just navigating it the best you can? Why do we call everything stress? And our words are powerful. When we call something stress, our body responds in a stress-related fashion as well. I really practice on not using that word about anything that I have going on in my life. And I got a lot going on in my life. I don't know if you realize that, or if you know, I have 4 young kiddos that are all school age. I am their taxi. I am their chauffeur. We live out of school district, so there is no bus. So that is me for different activities, different events for school and all the things. That is on me. My husband's a farmer. We are still in farming season. There's about 5 months out of the year where I'm, pretty much single mom of 4 kids, trying to help keep the house in order, keep the kids in order, and keep everything going here on our farm as best as I can while he's working nonstop 24 hours a day practically for those 5 months. We have a lot. I have my business. I volunteer at the school with 2 different committees, 2 different organizations. I have a lot going on. I'm also part of a networking group where I am the president of one of our networking groups. There's so many different moving pieces, and I don't look at it as stressful. I look at it as I'm choosing this. And if it's not helping me, and if it does not align with what I want to create, I don't have to choose it anymore. I can choose. And every 5 seconds, I get to choose something different. But it is really just taking some time to really ask yourself, does this align with where I am at and what I want right now? Or does it not? If it doesn't align, stop choosing it. You can change that. So, all that to say is you can choose to create more balance in your life. You can choose to react and respond in a stressed way, or react and respond in a, okay, this is what's next. Okay, this happened. One of my favorite quotes is on the wall in my office that I repeat all the time and I have ingrained in my brain is, the person with the most flexibility in thinking and behavior stands the best possible chance of success. I'm going to read that again, because it's very important when we're talking about stress and we're talking about really creating health. Because to learn to live a life of flexibility in all areas, mentally and physically, is huge. And I'm not talking about flexibility as in being able to do the splits. I'm talking about flexibility and being able to shift when life throws us curveballs, because it's always going to throw us curveballs, right? So the person with the most flexibility in thinking and behavior stands the best possible chance of success. I try to do my very best to live by that, and trying to continually having flexibility, trying to stay open and curious of, what can I do? What do I want? What am I willing to do? Is this aligned with what I want most? Is this hopeful? And always asking myself these questions, and repeatedly again, what can I do? Things are going to happen. Things are going to be thrown curveballs. But if I stop and say, what can I do about this? Versus going into, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Those are 2 different ways to respond, right? I hope you understand that and see that. Please comment, please send me messages, or in the Facebook group, if any of this is resonating with you. So as I kind of close up here, because I've been talking nonstop for 20 minutes, and I cannot believe, if you're still here with me, thank you. I hope again this is resonating with you. So as I kind of wrap this up, I hope to give you some starting points of thinking about the glycemic index, hydration, sleep, movement, and stress. Like, what are those things that you can do in one of those areas today? Don't try to tackle all of them all at once, but what's one thing you can do today in one of those areas to help you to move forward and change the trajectory of where you're going? So my encouragement is also for you to just start to notice your body cues. Which foods leave you energized and clear, and which ones leave you drained and inflamed, bloated, feeling just foggy headed, just not feeling great, tired. Those are the ones that you want to start recognizing, start going, oh, interesting. I wonder if I choose this next time, if I'd feel better. And I want you to start just becoming aware. And those will start to help you take steps towards reversing the insulin resistance, which is the metabolic health. And this isn't about perfection. It's about practicing and about becoming aware. It's about helping your body to feel safe again, one choice at a time. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Don't hesitate to ask in the group. I would love to answer any questions you have about this. It's a big topic, and we're just barely hitting the surface of some introductions of metabolic health, metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance. We can go into deeper on each one of those more and more, and we will in the coming weeks and months. But I also want to make sure that I'm making this very relevant to you, whoever's you that's watching this, you that has questions, that has other things. Maybe it's not about metabolic health. Maybe it's about something else. Ask your questions. Send them privately to me if you'd rather. Put them in the group. Let me know what your questions are so I can really create a real talk around your questions and help navigate all the different bad things and all the different marketing lies and all the different things that we hear. Is this true? Is this true? What should I do? There's so many things out there. And not that I know everything, but I've seen a lot. I myself have struggled my weight my whole life, struggled with my health my whole life, been insulin resistant with PCOS, diagnosed at age 25, but I had symptoms as a teenager. This has been a lifelong journey for me, and I don't have it all figured out, but I have come a long ways. Being a metabolic coach and helping people with this for 11 years, I've experienced a lot. I've seen a lot, and I want to share that openly, freely to every single person who wants it and who's seeking it. So please don't hesitate to reach out, to ask questions in the group. You can be anonymous, you can, or send them directly to me. There's also a form in my group. You can ask questions in there as well to submit your forms, your questions anonymously if you don't want to reach out to me privately. I hope this is valuable. I hope this kind of gave you a little bit more of an in-depth next level for metabolic syndrome, metabolic health, insulin resistance as that root cause, and the first steps that we can start to do to start to look at what can I do today to start to change the trajectory of where I'm going. Have a wonderful day. And again, praying and hoping that this was valuable and beneficial for you that's listening. Thank you for being here. Take care.